All right. Welcome back. Mini podcast, just me and Fatty. We figured we'd fill you guys in a little bit. It's been Seahawks after Seahawks after Seahawks, which is pretty fair considering the Seahawks are going to go win the Super Bowl. I did not just jinx it at all.
For sure. Knock on wood here.
Hope that came across.
It did.
Anyway, before we get bouncing around Seattle, Fatty, how you doing?
I'm doing great, dude. It's honestly nice to kind of take a break from all the Seahawks stress and the coverage. It's been a fun season to cover, but we have plenty of other great sports teams in Seattle to cover. So we want to give them the fans justice and give them their time to shine. And Brody, a little broadcast note: he's going to be gone for the next couple episodes. He is overseas right now on vacation. So we wish him the best, but yeah, he will not be in the next couple, I'd say next 3 or 4 episodes. And he's just watching the Super Bowl in a foreign country in the middle of the morning. It's going to be
3 a.m. slurping down bratwurst, watching the Super Bowl. He's just a slacker. We talked about it last pod. He just has really no commitment to the program, knowing what day the Super Bowl was.
You're right.
Planning a vacation during it. That's just...
He was secretly hoping Matt Stafford could pull it out. But anyways, yeah, just a little note. Any of our German fan base, try to track him down in Germany. We didn't mean to dox him, but I mean, I don't even know where the hell he is. But yeah, I'm excited. How are you, Jay Ross?
I'm pretty good. Seattle's kind of on a hummer right now across all sports. I mean, Seahawks aside. Kraken, we're on a hot streak, dipped down a little bit, but as we're filming this, huge win against the Capitals last night, which is exciting to see. Sounders preseason is fully underway. There's some Mariners talk going around. So all in all, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just enjoying. Actually, tonight's one of the dead nights for sports, and I don't know what to do with my hands because I'm just sitting here, don't have TV to turn on at 7 p.m. So instead we're filming an episode.
Right. Exactly. Perfect night for the episode. All right. So let's start off with the Kraken. How are we feeling? We got a couple things to talk about. And I really like this mini-sode because we really dive in. Usually we just are kind of like, oh, Kraken are good. Mariners aren't doing anything. Sounders are Sounders. Okay, Seahawks. So we're really getting into the weeds here. So Kraken, how are we feeling about the Kraken as we're nearing the trade deadline, Jay Ross?
I think the Kraken, we basically the same place we've been saying, but they're just teetering on that knife's edge of where some nights, like last night, we looked like a legit wagon. Like last night, said it over and over again, but we got the goaltending. Our offense looked great. Jared McCann looked like an all-star, elite level player, getting those 4 points, getting his hat trick taken back from him thanks to a Matty Beniers high stick, sadly. But it's what we've talked about. I don't even know if we're streaky right now. We're just so game to game where one game we look like an elite team and one game we look pretty poor. There's definitely some highs and this lows in the team. Special teams, I still hit or miss. Power play's figuring it out quite a bit, but we just have some boneheaded mistakes where we keep getting shorthanded goals scored on us, which is never a good sign as a team and pretty scary. But on the flip side, the Kraken are kind of finding a way to put the puck in the back of the net. Got 5 goals last night, 4 goals the night before. We won't talk about that Ducks game, then 4 goals the game before that. So, Kraken, I think I'm more confident than I have been in a long time with the Kraken. And one thing about them is if they're losing by 2 goals or less, until it's really late in the game, I have a weird sense of optimism of we're going to find a way to win this game, especially at home where it's I don't know. The Kraken just find a way. They're the comeback kids. I mean, we're on a bit of a dip, but I put out a tweet a couple days ago where it's the Kraken are weirdly the Chicago Bears of the NHL, where it's don't know why, but it's fun. And a lot of teams will say we're vanilla. We have a boring lineup, but it's just like the Bears. We just find stupid ways to win games at the end. We don't have a cool star quarterback like Caleb Williams, but it's a lot of times we're finding ways to win ugly, and a win's a win. They don't ask how, they ask how many at the end of the year. And so I'm pretty confident in this team.
Now, let me ask you something. I know that you've addressed that we are really, really bad in the special teams. We're at the top of the league with shorthanded goals. Now, in your opinion, the Kraken, in my opinion, the Kraken have always struggled with that. And we've gone through a couple different coaching regimes. We've gone through a little bit of a roster turnover since the expansion draft. In your opinion, is it more of a coaching issue, or is it more we need certain skill players to kind of boost that unit?
I'd say it's a mixture of both. I mean, right now we're in 11th, so it's not like our power play is necessarily bad. It's just we make boneheaded mistakes. And I think the hard part about it, and like I said, 11th, middle of the pack, can't complain about it too much, but the best power plays have the best players on it, right? Like, let's go. If we were to go click and look at the power play leading the NHL, first place, shocker, Edmonton Oilers, like they're the best player in the
Right.
world, top 3 player in the world. Second, Dallas Star, goal scorer after goal scorer. Third, Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby. Fourth, Bruins, Pasta. Like, you go down the list, and the power play, anyone that's ever watched a hockey game, it's more space on the ice for your goal scorers and your best players to work with, and
Right.
that's really when the best players are able to show why they're a grain above the rest. And this Kraken team doesn't really have that guy, right? And so I think there definitely is a hard ceiling on what our special teams can be on the power play side. And as for the PK, scroll down the list a little bit, see where the Kraken are. It's really weird because our penalty kill percentage is we're 31st in the league, which is obviously terrible because there's 32 teams in the NHL.
Terrible.
But the thing is about the Kraken is we don't really give up penalties. That's why it was so weird watching that Devils game and that Islanders game the other day, where the Kraken are a very disciplined team where our penalty kill hasn't really bit us in the butt yet because we don't give up that many power plays. Now, this is something that in the playoffs will absolutely kill us, and we need to figure it out because if we end up in a wild card spot where we're playing the Oilers, we literally only need to give up 1 penalty a game, and that's a goal against us every game because Connor McDavid will put it in the back of our net, or he'll give it to Draisaitl and he'll put it in the back of the net. So that's definitely something we got to work on, which is weird because you'd think a Lane Lambert team where it's just gritty, block shots, and with this roster, this team of guys, I would expect the power or penalty kill, to be like our strong suit, and
Right.
it's very weak. And special teams is really, it's, hate to bring it back to it, but it's similar to the Seahawks. Like, a lot of teams overlook it, but our special teams is what is the reason the Seahawks beat the Rams. Very similar for the Kraken, where if we stay lackluster on the penalty kill, that can be what costs you a playoff spot, what costs you a playoff series if we make it that far.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, so I mean, you're saying it's a little mix of coaching, little mix of just not having those top guys on the ice when it comes time to be on the power play. There have been some rumors lately about a potential marquee free agent. Do you want to dive into those rumors? I know we're trying to get through the season and the trade deadline, but there have been some rumors circulating about the upcoming free agency class. What do we got there?
So Elliot Friedman said on 32 Thoughts this past week, shout them out, that apparently the Kraken are a team that he wouldn't be surprised to see linked to Jason Robertson. Now, when we talk about a player who can flip a power play like that, a winger that can go score goals, Jason Robertson is that guy. I mean, he's just goals, goals, goals. He should have been on the Olympic squad. The fact that he wasn't is a joke. And honestly, the fact that we're even just put in that conversation is pretty excited to me because the Kraken, but Seattle sports in general, is usually not linked with those big name opportunities. And I mean, I said a couple episodes ago that I wanted us to go after Nick Robertson, his brother, who is, no offense to Nick Robertson, not Jason Robertson. And the fact that I immediately saw a post of us being linked to Jason Robertson is just, kind of mind blowing.
Why not both?
I mean, why not? You know what I mean? We'll see. I don't know if I'd say I'm confident of that really happening yet or at all because it's very much speculations. But I mean, we're talking about a guy. Let's look at his stats. 35 goals, 29 goals, 46 goals, 41 goals, 79 points, 109 points, 80 points, 80 points. Like, you just look at his last couple of years, and this is the type of player that the Kraken have not had in our roster,
right?
Literally ever. And so I don't care how much money we have to pay this guy. Give him the bag. If he's willing to come to Seattle, give him all the money he wants, and there's our first line winger.
What is the sweepstakes looking like so far? I'm sure we're not the only team involved. Is there multiple? Is there 5 or 6, or is it more of a 2 or 3? Do you think money would be the biggest factor? And if so, what is the contract just off the top of your head looking like?
I honestly don't know the exact number that it would be, but it would be a big number. The one thing I will say is I still think there's a legit likelihood that he ends up just going back to the Stars at the end because they still have leverage in this whole deal. And so there has been that lingering talk of, oh, will he, oh, won't he, end up going or end up staying. So I still think the Stars is where he'll likely end up. But there's been 4 other teams linked around him to the Utah Mammoth were put ahead of us in that, I believe, in that post out from Friedman. And Utah is a team that is willing to spend some money and want to bring a big name in. So we'll definitely have to outbid them.
For sure.
Smith, their owner, is very, very ambitious and has a lot of cool shoes. So he'll definitely want to,
He's one of the best owners in all of sports. With the Jazz and the Mammoth, he's doing a great job, and he should be a poster child for a lot of ownership groups. Super young, just a great guy. I have nothing but praise for him. But yeah, he's someone we're gonna have to outbid for a marquee free agent like Jason Robertson for sure.
So let's look at one other trade that I think is more likely that has been talked about is the Kraken are now shopping Shane Wright. And I guess I'll ask before I go, yeah, what's your initial thoughts when you see the post saying Shane Wright is on the shopping block?
It's honestly crazy to me, just due to the fact that the Kraken, I mean, haven't had a lot of marketable names, and being able to get Shane Wright at 4 in that draft where he was projected to go number 1, it was a whole saga. Like, he wasn't, able to be a Montreal Canadian. He wasn't worth the value. And honestly, he hasn't been performing in that top lottery pick status quite yet, but I viewed him as a late bloomer. But the other part of me kind of views him as a Jared Kelenic type guy, like the Mariners had. And honestly, it got to the point where they were shopping him around to, in that case, salary dump. But the Kraken are including Shane Wright in packages to be aggressive and buy. It's almost like a buy now and just, kind of hemorrhage your prospects. And, I guess maybe we're just kind of curious of how the Kraken organization really views Shane Wright past 2026.
So I saw some talk online and I agreed with it, where the idea of, if you're the Kraken, right? If you cared about Shane Wright, you want him to turn into this goal scoring center that you really want to build your team around. We've had so many opportunities to try to make him into that. Last year, there were plenty of games after we got eliminated from the playoffs. We still didn't move him up the lineup. We still didn't give him that legit opportunity and put his minutes up, even though he was playing really well. He was still down at 3C at 4th line center, somewhere down there. The other thing it pointed out was, if the Kraken had faith in Shane Wright, he was going to turn in to this landmark player for the Kraken. He's our future at center. We already have Matty. Matty's already a legit player for the Kraken. So he's not, I mean, he could, but Matty's always going to be there. But if we had that idea, why did we go out and sign Chandler Stevenson to a 7-year deal? Because Chandler Stevenson, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, who won in 2 different markets, knows how to win. You're not going to bump him down for Shane Wright.
Right.
And so my thought is, if you're a Kraken fan, if you're a Kraken ownership, if you're Lane Lambert, do you want Shane Wright to just be a defense-first center? And if you say yes, okay, fair play. But if you say no, why would we not shop him? And one of the names that has been linked with him that I think could be fun is Alexis Lafreniere. He's a winger on the Rangers. He's a former first overall pick who a couple years ago was getting hyped up huge, right? Obviously this year, I mean, not the best stats, but he's also playing on a terrible Rangers team where I think he's a guy who could be a point-getting, goal-scoring winger that we're looking for on this team. And we've already proven that we're willing to take on some of these project players. I mean, we literally have a player that was almost the same mold in Kaapo Kakko from the New York Rangers. And okay, he's not quite a superstar per se, but like, I like Kaapo Kakko's game, and he's offered something to this team that we didn't have. And I think that if we see Shane Wright is just our 3C, our defense first center, we can go find someone cheaper with less upside on the free agent, on the trade market, wherever.
Right.
We can go use his value to go fix a place of weakness. We needed a goal scoring. We need a point-getting winger. We can use him to go get something like that. It doesn't even have to necessarily be selling our future for a buy now player. Lafreniere is 24 years old. Like,
right.
That can be a guy that we can develop. He's on a 7-year, $52 million contract, comes up to $7.4 million. And with today's salary cap only going up, $7 million is not that hard to swallow when we don't have that many big contracts on the book.
Right.
That's a swing that I'm willing to take.
So in this hypothetical Shane Wright, Alexis Lafreniere, is that how you say his name? Lafreniere?
Good enough. We'll take it.
Perfect. All right. Would you anticipate then the Rangers having more leverage? So we're going to have to send Shane Wright and then some to acquire him because he's on that contract and is a little bit more established than Shane Wright? Or do you think that the Rangers view Shane Wright potentially higher than we do internally?
I think the Rangers are needing to blow it up because they're terrible. And I think it's kind of a win-win where it's like, hey, you're trying to blow it up, start over. Here's a little gem that you guys can maybe develop if you guys rate him.
And then get
On
the
the flip
salary off
side,
the books.
we'll take money off your books. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's kind of a
Okay.
opportunity to
Okay.
give both players a change of scenery. And I don't really know, dude. I don't know if you can. I think I could see a straight swap happening. I mean, maybe some picks or something will get
Right.
thrown in there somewhere, but nothing high end.
Right.
And if I'm
Well,
the Kraken, I mean, we can go get. I mean, you saw it this year. A guy like David Camp was a free agent halfway through the year. Like we could take him, throw him in that 3C position, and
right.
who knows? Maybe some guy will come up from Coachella. We'll have some draft picks that develop, and then they can take the same role. I just think if we want to go really win in the nearish future, that's a move that I like to make.
For sure. You've talked me into it, honestly. So it's going to be interesting to see, Shane Wright's name being floated around in the trade deadline. Does he go? And, if he doesn't, if the Kraken stay put, is this going to fracture the relationship? So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But let's keep moving forward. Let's keep talking about some guys that are making the Kraken great when they are great. And that's Philip Grubauer on an absolute tear right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a shame for us to not shout it out on this episode. The fact that Gruby has been playing at a legitimate elite level for the Kraken this year. Like he has been the reason why we're honestly where we are right now. There's so many games now where I tweeted out last night, when does he enter Vezina chat? Because if the Kraken make the playoff, the only hope is we keep this good goaltending. And Grubauer is top 10 in the league and basically like every stat that involves performing above expected over the last 20 games or so, to the point where it's this is what we saw at a Grubauer in that Avalanche playoff series where it's like, this is the Grubauer we signed when we
Right.
became a team. This is the Grubauer we gave this big contract to. And we have not seen that. I mean, this guy was literally playing Coachella. We were trying to get rid of him last year for whoever would take him.
Right.
And whatever happened, because at the start of the year, he wasn't playing out of his skin, but something lit a fire under him. And Joey's just chilling on the bench. I mean, Joey's not having a bad year either, but Grubauer has been playing out of his skin where it's like, before I was not scared, but I was scared when it was a back-to-back and Grubauer was having to play game 2. Now it's like, okay, we're good. I trust both goalies in any situation. So, I mean, that's a goaltender can win you a Stanley Cup. We saw it with Jordan Binnington for the Blues, and
Right.
I'm not saying we're there yet, but if Grubauer
It's
were
a
to
good
play like this
problem
in
to
a
have.
playoff series,
Yeah.
I'd be scared to play against us.
I'm excited. So I really hope the Kraken do hopefully trend to a wild card spot in the playoffs. But let's say leading up into the later parts of the season, we're just not at that point. Trade deadline is here before you know it. Is there a possibility? Is there a scenario where we start trading the Unks? Is it time to let go of some? Who comes to mind first for you? And what value do you see in selling off some older, maybe veteran type rental contracts?
The 3 names that I think people would look to add would be Jamie Alexiak, Jared McCann, Jaden Schwartz. So for me, Jaden Schwartz had injuries. He's another one of
Sure.
those guys who type of guy you can add to the bottom 6 of your roster to go win a Stanley Cup somewhere else. Probably won't have as big of a role as he has for us, but still I could see that happening. Jared McCann hurts me because as we're filming this, he's back to being on a heater, 11 points in his last 10 games, albeit 4 of them came last night, but he's really coming into form, bouncing back from a very injured start of the year, where if we start to fizzle out a little bit and not be in that playoff race, like that's a guy who, if he keeps being on a heater, maybe we find a team that will go give us some assets for it to grow. And I think Jamie Alexiak is the guy that we would be able to get the best value for, because Jamie Alexiak is a freaking man mountain. He's a human train. Like run over you, F you, does not need teeth. Everyone's seen his BEC or WAFED, whatever, checking commercial here in Seattle. And that's a guy you put on your bottom pairing on defense and you win a Stanley Cup. And
I'm sorry. I thought you said everyone's seen his BBC, and I'm like, what the what? BECU, Boeing Employees Credit Union, or are we talking
whatever,
about?
whichever, I think it's WAFED Bank. Either way, we're not talking about anyway.
Okay,
Anyway,
sorry.
maybe I don't know. I guess I can't confirm or deny that, but nonetheless, I think that's a guy that you'd see a team like an Avalanche go get at the deadline to just bolster, where it's like playoff hockey. Okay, other teams' top lines out there, we're going to run over you. And Alexiak can offer that to a team, and kind of Silky. So I think I don't want to get to that point because that means that we'd be back from the playoff race. But if it gets to that point, those are the guys I'd keep an eye out for.
All right. Well, we shall see. We shall see.
Well, I think now let's move on. I think that's enough talk about hockey for now. We can move
Okay.
over to the baseball diamond. Fatty,
Cool.
you've been a little bit in the backseat. I'll let you take the wheel here. Our
Cool.
resident baseball expert, Seattle
Sounds good.
Mariners.
Seattle
International
Mariners,
signing class,
man.
go.
Outside of doing the crazy shit where it's acquiring a third string catcher and maybe a reliever flyer the past couple, I mean, we're making some serious moves. No, it's a little dormant this time of year. A lot of free agents are kind of trickling in. But the coolest part about this time of year is it's the international signing class period, and just kind of breaking it down for those who don't really understand the baseball calendar or how this really impacts our prospects and things like that. So the international signing class is strictly for, as it's known for, global prospects. These are not prospects in the U.S. that you can draft. It's primarily down in Central and Southern America, in the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, so on and so forth. The Mariners have ventured into Southeast Asia a little bit the past couple of years, but you essentially get a chunk of money that you can kind of trade and acquire and get. It doesn't go against your salary cap, or that we talk about all the time with the Mariners. So don't think any of these signings are one, big money, or B, going toward any major league acquisitions. This does not move the needle whatsoever. It's a completely different bucket of money that the Mariners get to spend. But what I do love about the Mariners is their presence down in Central America. They've always been highlighting prospect signing classes. This is where Felix Hernandez came from. This is where Julio Rodriguez grew up and in the Mariners pipeline. So it's really cool to have such a huge presence down there. And yeah, just to kind of highlight, I narrowed it down to the top three because you're going to see a lot of different signings. And honestly, these are all flyers. I mean, you can be confident in a couple, and these are the three that I'm confident in, but they are honestly, they're going to like litter your minor league system, and they're going to either pop with some playing time, or they're just going to end up being filler. So you can't really expect anything right away. And full disclosure, these kids are 15, 16, 17 years old, and we're going to get to the last one, and it's going to blow your mind. But it's yeah. So these guys aren't going to be anywhere close to the team for the next couple of years, but it's definitely some promising names to keep an eye on. So are we ready, J. Ross? Should I just rapid fire?
I think we could maybe mention one more. So like, what dictates, is it just this all like free agency essentially? Is there an order, a priority list, like waiver wire? Like what prioritizes how the Mariners are able to land these names over some of the other teams?
Right. And I think so there's a few factors that go into it. Like I mentioned, they have a certain amount of money. And so Ohtani was actually in this class as well, because or not in this class, but in this scenario. So when the Mariners were trying to be the highest bidder for Ohtani when he was still under international prospect status, what you can do is you can trade players and get more international money. But it's an even playing field to kind of counter manipulating the market. But honestly, you see a lot of teams not really active in these because they just don't invest the time in is scouting internationally. I mean, you'll see a couple teams really hone in on the Japanese prospects, and they're doing their due diligence. But the Mariners have always made it a point to have a really strong presence in the Dominican Republic, and they've built some of their franchise cornerstones are from that area. So it's just a really cool pipeline that the Mariners have spent decades, kind of cultivating. So there's definitely some other teams. Obviously, you're going to have your Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays, obviously with the proximity there. But you have the Red Sox, just your big name teams. But you don't see the Rockies too active in things like this. You don't really see, the A's or the Angels or anything like that. So
is there one dumb question? Is there a reason the three names you listed aren't involved in this are three garbage teams? Like, do you think there's a reason for why that's a thing?
In terms of what? Sorry.
The three teams you listed that aren't really involved in this, don't really
right.
Look in the international market is the Rockies, the A's, and the Angels. Like you.
Yeah, and it's less of like I kind of like garbage teams, but it's more of just your philosophy. Are you going to spend more time, or are you going to spend all of your time scouting Americans that you can get in the draft? It's an important thing. There's 30 rounds in the MLB draft. There used to be 60. So it's a long, strenuous, year-round process to really scout within the States. So sometimes people just don't allocate enough energy to go down and really hire Dominican scouts or Venezuelan scouts. So the Mariners have been one where they've kind of led the charge. They have a Dominican academy down there where kids can go and play baseball, weight train and things like that, but also learn English and attend school. It's really cool. It's kind of like an IMG academy of some sorts. Obviously, I talked about it a few episodes ago. Julio Rodriguez investing some of the contract money the Mariners have given him to open up a complex in his hometown. So I think the Mariners are just kind of a popular team down there. And I think that's why a lot of kids gravitate.
Well, speaking of them gravitating towards the Mariners, let's talk about your top three. Give me who do you want to focus on?
So I got three. And we're just going to kind of rapid fire. Like I said, there's not a lot of, if you want to go and look into the weeds with these guys, you can. I don't give them another look outside of this. I like to just kind of see them and then see how they play. These guys won't even be on the Aqua Sox for another, I would say, give or take 2 or 3 years. So they're really going to just be acquired. They're going to sign the contract, put the hat on, enjoy with their families, and then go to the Dominican Summer League Academy in Peoria, Arizona for a couple of years. So it's just kind of names you like to keep an eye on and be like, oh yeah, I remember him from this class. So I have 4, but the fourth one is just one that we have to cover in a segment in itself. But we're just going to go through the top 3 that highlight this class this year. Juan Rio. He's an outfielder from the Dominican Republic. MLB Pipeline lists him at number 12 of this class. Kind of quick analysis here. He's an advanced hitter. It's an improving power, and he has strong instincts in center field. By far the most polished and safest profile in this class for the Mariners. So definitely one that is going to be great outfield depth. Hopefully. And you got to remember, I mean, Julio's our center fielder of the future, but these guys most likely will be, probably unseating Julio as he moves over to left or maybe designated hitter. So no worries about that. Next up, I have Gregory Pio. He is MLB Pipeline's number 32. A lot of scouts are saying that he has an athletic and projectable frame. And I had to kind of go and fact check that because I'm thinking it's another Lazaro Montes, like another 6'4", 220 type guy. This guy's 5'11", 170. So
how old is he though?
How old is Gregory Pio?
Yeah.
He's 17 years old. And if you want to feel old, these guys were born in 2009, 2010.
That was not okay. Didn't need to go there, but okay.
Yeah.
So you still got time. But
yeah. Still got plenty of time to grow. But I'm thinking maybe athletic projectable frame probably means that he's fast. He's listed as an outfielder right now. I could definitely see him moving probably over to second base. And yeah, so he's got high upside and he's very developmental as maybe a corner outfielder as well. And then finally, to wrap up my top 3, Leonardo Reynoso, a cool name, a shortstop from the Dominican Republic as well. MLB Pipeline lists him at 48. From what I've been told, he is a smooth defender. He's got great instincts at shortstop, and he's a contact first bat. So just your run-of-the-mill middle infielder. His defense is obviously his strong suit, but they're going to have to work on, his contact and really, level out his bat, maybe develop a little bit of power. But those are the three that I really enjoy from this class.
Well, I guess my initial reaction as a literally knows nothing about any of these players, Leonardo Reynoso is probably my favorite of the class, purely because that is an electric name. Like, that's a name where, imagine just...
You muted yourself.
Well, Leonardo Reynoso's name is so cool. It actually cut out my mic, so cut that back. Leonardo Reynoso. Like, that just sounds electric over the com.
Awesome. Awesome name.
That's confirmed. Probably going to be a legit impact on the major league squad. And outside that, the other guys have some upside, but their names aren't as cool, so I don't know if I can rate them quite as highly.
For sure. And last but not least, and this has been making headlines because of just how crazy it is. And I literally, I'm obviously very active on Mariners Reddit. I don't post there, but I usually get my news from there first. I get a notification on my phone earlier this week that the Mariners have signed a 13-year-old from Venezuela with Juan Soto comparisons. And then I was just like, okay, this is a prank. This has to be a prank. But then I go into it, do a little bit more digging. Dylan Perez out of Venezuela. He is going to be in the 2030 class, so nothing is officially official. But it is reported to be a $3.7 million deal, which in the scope of these is very, very high. This is around the amount that Ohtani received from the Angels when he was an international prospect. Just crazy stuff. The Mariners really jumped on him early. He's a blue chip talent with some premium upside. They're thinking, he hits for power. He's got discipline, and he could actually be better than Juan Soto as an international prospect. I am not saying that. I'm very excited.
Dude, he's 13. He can be whatever he wants to be.
Well, he's a $3.7 million 13-year-old. But obviously, to kind of wrap up the analysis, he's viewed internally as a potential franchise cornerstone. So that is something to keep an eye on. I'm excited. Obviously, I can't really see much growth. I'm excited to see, I guess, his frame. I guess his
at
size.
13, can you even count to 3.7 million? I don't know if you're like capable yet.
It's just like, and what are we going to do with these next 4 years? Like, he's just going to be playing down in the Dominican. I mean, and he's not. He basically committed, kind of like a college.
How did he sign his contract? No, at 13, have you even like decided what your signature is yet? I don't know if
he better figure it out when 3.7 million is in front of him. But it is awesome. It's great that the Mariners were able to get this guy so early. I hope it pans out. I hope he stays injury free and that he commits to being a Seattle Mariner, because he could be a guy where if he signs at 17, you might see him like Juan Soto at 19, or dare I say Julio Rodriguez at 20. So very, very excited for 2030. I can't even think about 2030 though right now.
Dude, these scouts are going to games where like the players are having to have their mom tie their shoe. Exactly. And we are having full-on MLB scouts there.
Exactly. But
are we serious?
Yeah, no, very, 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 very interesting storyline there. But yeah, that is my Mariners wrap up. As of now, we're about 60 days from opening day. So very, very exciting. There's still, a couple questions to answer, I think, for the whole league. The World Baseball Classic's coming up. We'll talk about that later on in some later episodes, but that's my Mariners update for y'all.
All right. Well, I guess we can move on to the final of the three teams we're going to talk about today. Bounce over and where we started this week, back to Lumen Field, the Seattle Sounders. Fatty, I don't know if I'll be able to go as in-depth for the Sounders because we don't really have a cool, fun window that we just finished up. Well, we're actually in the middle of one. Sounders just haven't really signed anyone recently. I mean, we already talked about the last couple signings, Hassani Dotson, but outside of that, I'd say the biggest news that came out today was Sounders are in preseason, and they posted a photo of Peppo today. So Peppo on the field, we saw him blow up his knee on decision day at NYCFC last season, and a lot of fans are scared, didn't really know what his injury status would be and when he'd be back. But just the fact of seeing him on the training field, albeit with that sleeve on, makes me excited because if Brody was here, he'd probably be drooling right now because De La Vega might be the sole reason why Brody smiles any day. But De La Vega just offers something to this team that we don't really have, where his upside is game changing. I mean, he could have won the Puskás. For those that don't know what that is goal of the year, not in the MLS, not in the continent, in the world. And he was nominated for that award. So, like, this is the level of talent we're talking about with De La Vega. And the problem is injuries after injuries. So I really hope that he finds a way to be able to play this year because he's our number 10. He's our big name. Some fans are in favor of selling him, and we decided to hold on to him. I'm hoping that proves out to be well.
For
The
sure.
other, I guess, signing news we'll skip around to it is we've re-signed Nuhu. Flip side, Brody's probably grinding his teeth on that one. But Nuhu, I mean, yes, going forward, he's not really dependable, but he is one of the best lockdown 1v1 defenders in the league. I mean, I think you can arguably say world-class 1v1 defender. I mean, we're talking about a guy who has clamped Mohamed Salah multiple times, and he captains his nation. He is now the captain of Cameroon playing in the African Cup of Nations. Which is kind of concerning because you're telling me out of the entire country, the leader, the most composed guy in your land is Nuhu Tolo, the man who's got a red card this year for flipping off a fan. Should have been sent off for spraying an opponent with a water bottle in the tunnel and is routinely memed. I love you, Nuhu, but these are not usually what you want to see out of a captain. But nonetheless, I mean, was a good outing. You know?
Game is game.
Yeah, I mean, he did make it to the quarterfinals of the AFCON. They lost to Morocco, who supposedly kind of maybe partially could have cheated their way to the final as the host nation. And then we got to shout out Georgie Benungu, who sadly did lose in the knockout round, but getting minutes in the AFCON is always cool. He's getting a start there, getting a goal, late winner. So shout out the boys for still playing in the offseason and making a notice on the AFCON stage.
Kind of quick question about what you were just talking about. So the AFCON, in relation to those who might not know soccer outside of the MLS or European League. So where does this tournament fall in the scale of, obviously it's not a World Cup, but where does this fall?
I mean, it's the African Cup of Nations. So it's literally like Africa's World Cup. Obviously it's not the World Cup, but by that I mean is every team in Africa plays in a tournament. And so it's not on par with the biggest international tournaments in the world because obviously the talent in Africa is not the same as like if you were to watch the Euros. The high-end talent is better than what you would see in the Gold Cup in terms of the North American region. Like, the stars on display. Does it have World Cup
qualifying implications or no?
So this is a whole nother tournament. So there's World Cup qualifying. I don't believe the winner qualifies for World Cup. And the final was between Senegal and Morocco, and the bronze game was Egypt, Nigeria. Like that's sprinkled with, I mean, like a Sadio Mane, Hakimi, like these names that you hear with these countries are like best of the best playing because Africa does produce that high end of talent. Like the lower end countries obviously are not very good, but that's every region in the world, right? So this is a huge stage. And like I said, Nuhu's rocking the captain. I mean, Nuhu is captaining Brian Mbeumo, who helped beat Arsenal this past weekend. So Nuhu should pretty much be in the Prem. He did actually have some links. Apparently Lyon was in on him, one of the giants in France. Obviously they're not as big as they were in recent years, but like he's getting interest on the international stage.
I mean, they're like top of the table in their league though. I mean, not to PSG and fuck, why am I forgetting the other one?
But yeah, so they're still big. I mean, it's still a big club and it's huge for them to be targeted.
Right.
But I think we can move to what will be the easiest way for you to pan into this conversation.
For sure.
There's been links over the last couple days of the Sounders' new uniform, and I'll pop it up now.
Let's take a look.
There's nothing guaranteed. This is all rumor boys here.
Design
but this is supposedly yes. So this is from Footy Headlines, which to be honest, usually these predictions are maybe not spot on, and there would be aspects that are different, but this is pretty much made up from the teaser ads combined with leaks from MLS's media day. So no one's seen the full uniform yet, but there has been photos leaked of Obed, which I'll show on the next slide,
Okay.
this is the colorway for the shorts and socks they were wearing at media day.
Oh
And
my
so,
fucking God.
yeah, so I
Why?
guess, Fatty, initial reaction. What do you think? For guys,
Man.
if you're listening to the podcast, I'll sum it up. Green jersey, aqua shorts, aqua socks.
So and Brody probably is gonna kill me because I'm gonna be critical of these because I soccer for me with uniforms is always really pushing that envelope in terms of like uniformity. I don't understand what the infatuation is with mixing the kind of electric Gatorade style blue with the green. Okay? Like if we're going to dive in, you gotta offset it with like a navy or something, maybe like a dark, kind of like a Kraken thing, like behind you.
Yeah.
This looks horrific. I'm not gonna lie. The green is I've always loved the Sounders green. And if you're gonna do that, let's just pick a color that contrasts it. This is also what's on the side here. I know it's Apple TV MLS. What's on the other side?
EQC.
Okay, EQC, Emerald Queen Casino, baby. I just wanted to make sure, but yeah, I mean, God, I don't know, J. Ross. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a
so
soccer casual, but I love uniforms, and this ain't it.
so my biggest, I don't like how, in my opinion, I think that this colorway has potential, and maybe the New Jersey will come out and it will combine it a little bit better. But only
Right.
there's initial leaks. I'm not a fan of how it just feels like it kind of gives me the vibes of like when you're at practice and you have two different training kits, and
Right.
one team is wearing the matching training kit and the other team is
Yeah.
wearing the shorts and the socks,
Yeah.
but they're wearing the other colored shirt.
Right.
That's kind of the vibes I'm getting here, where it's like it looks like if you were to put your hand over the bottom half of this photo and then put your hand over the top half of this photo, it
Yeah.
looks like two different uniforms.
No, yeah,
And
for sure.
I think
I
that
could
if
agree
they
with
were
that.
to have a
What's
little
the
more
public's
like,
perception about this?
honestly, let's stop screen sharing and I'll read look at some of the comments on this type of stuff, because see what you guys want to say, because I can't imagine it's much better than this. I mean, what are those shorts? Guess I stick to using Bundesliga green kits for another 2 years. I don't know how accurate this will be, but I don't like it. Some random dude said, "Me really like you," so shout out that guy. But I'm seeing like people are using CGI to put this on the uniform.
Well,
I'm
okay,
really
share a
hoping.
CGI snippet. Show an AI snippet of this on a
Okay,
player.
okay. So this is what CGI in the world we live in has said this will
I
look
love
like
that
on the
you're
field.
dating yourself saying CGI. It's just okay. 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 I kind of it's kind of a
Looks
little bit better.
better, but I
Better.
still think like there needs to be a little more. Shout out the fact that the chat didn't even put the new logo on the uniforms, by the
Yeah.
way. This is great podcasting. The Spotify version is going to be amazing. But it's,
Yeah,
dude, this
sorry,
looks this
Spotify.
looks kind of this looks kind of garbage to me, in my opinion. And this is the mock-up, so I'm allowed to make fun of it all I want, because when the new one comes out, I'll end up liking it and spending way too much money to get it. But I just think there needs to be more connection in here. The jersey needs to blend into the shorts more, or vice versa. It can't just be
Yeah.
no connecting colors.
Yeah. I mean, I like that picture a little bit. And for those who are just listening on Spotify, we're just looking at a AI generated picture of it on a player and kind of like on the field. So I think like, night game, like those could be cool night game uniforms like with the shorts. I think it contrasts pretty well there, but yeah, it's just like I don't understand. Like I feel like the Sounders haven't, like if the Sounders are going to rebrand to that light blue, just do it. Just do it and just don't look back.
Yeah.
My
Nothing,
favorite were the Salish Sea kits,
I love
maybe
those.
last year or the year before. Love those.
Yeah. I think that's electric colorway. And I mean, if we're gonna talk jerseys, just please, I don't care who I have to talk to, I'll talk to him. Can we find a way to get Xbox back? Like Providence doesn't look bad, but like Xbox is so elite. Like, come on,
How dare you
come on.
insult regional medicine like that?
You know what? I like video games.
Good stuff. Good
Would you
stuff.
rather have ibuprofen or FIFA? Actually,
True.
so nonetheless, that's Sounders talk. And that's our wrap up, boys. I mean, it ended up being a little longer than we expected, but that just means we went a little more in depth and had a little more fun. Nonetheless, I hope you boys enjoyed this episode. Do not forget to leave a like, subscribe. We're a Wednesday show, but we thought we'd sprinkle in some other stuff here and there. And guys,
For sure.
we filmed some stuff. We got some fun stuff in the making. I think once the Seahawks run ends, with a Super Bowl, obviously, we'll definitely sprinkle in some more trivia, some more fun games.
Some more shorts.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that we're not taking this seriously enough and investing enough time into it. But trust me, this is just the foundation. But we really appreciate everyone that's been able to, like, share. I've been getting texts from just random people that I didn't expect were going to listen to the podcast because they're not necessarily Seattle, fans, Seattle natives. So really appreciate you guys and sharing it. And, it's definitely, is this going to blow up tomorrow? No, but you never know what it's going to turn into. And I'm just very thankful to do this. I enjoy doing it. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Nonetheless, like you said, hopefully this blows up tomorrow, but even if it doesn't, we will see you guys next week.
Let's do it.